Experts predict Bidenomics will produce another Great Depression in 2024. And y'all know I've been calling for this for a while now. I already noted that we're already in a recession by the old standards before the government came in and changed what it means to be in a recession. And I said the next thing that was going to happen is we're going to be in a depression. And again, experts are saying that this could happen next year. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Joe Biden has been touting his economy, which has seen inflation explode to more than 9%, mortgage rates balloon to the 7% plus range, and millions of American families lose thousands of dollars in buying power as Bidenomics. That might not help him heading into the 2024 presidential race, as a new report confirms that there's a new attention-getting economic indicator flashing that, quote, hasn't appeared since the 1930s during the height of the Great Depression. The warning comes from Fox Business, which explained, quote, if the White House and Congress do not cut inflation causing government spending soon, the results could be catastrophic. And we all know Ron Paul, back in the day, years ago, he kept talking about government spending and how government spending would cause out of control inflation, and we're living it now. The report noted that spending surged at the end of President Donald Trump's term because of COVID. The Democrat Congress then handed out, quote, vast amounts of money to subsidize the economy, the financial system, and more. The report explained, quote, the never-before-seen levels of money creation were fueled by policies set by the Federal Reserve, which encouraged Congress to spend more money and kept interest rates extremely low, despite warnings from economists about the threat of future inflation. And of course, that warning went on deaf ears. And then when Joe Biden took office, while the indicators suggested the economic crisis would soon come to an end, Biden failed to respond, and he and congressional Democrats chose to keep spending at levels that were artificially inflated. And that, coupled with the decision by the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates low and Biden's decision to send billions of dollars to Ukraine, triggered inflation. Energy costs exploded, as did food costs and transportation costs. Homes became unaffordable, and the economy pushed families to exclude everything but the very basics from their purchasing plans. Multiple moves by the Fed to raise interest rates slowed inflation somewhat, but because government spending remained at unattainable levels, the problem remained. The results was, the report said that, quote, most consumer goods and services, as well as rent and housing prices, remain much higher than they were before the pandemic started. Furthermore, the cash and bank deposits plunged. So prices are up, available cash is down, and there's, quote, unprecedented strain on American families, the report said. The report noted over the last century, quote, the only other time Americans have seen the money supply drop this sharply was in the early 1930s during the height of the Great Depression. Worse for Biden as his economy hits the headlines just as the 2024 presidential campaign is getting a footing. The difference this time is that prices still are going up now. That caused a, quote, dire situation for families, the report said, as people are using savings and even borrowing to cover living expenses like food. The data reveals that 4 in 5 Americans now have less in savings than before the pandemic, and the total credit card debt now has topped $1 trillion. And in a Rasmussen report that found 52% of American adults believe it's likely that over the next few years, the United States will enter a 1930-like depression, including 21% say a major depression is very likely. And a survey of 1,086 American adults was conducted on September 14th and 17th through 18th, 2023 by Rasmussen Reports. The margin of sampling error is plus minus 3% with a 95% level of confidence. So most people see it coming. Most Americans are struggling. The majority of Americans are struggling, even though I do get the occasional trolls in the comments pretending like none of this stuff is really happening. But y'all know I go with stats, I go with facts, and that's what we have here. The facts are showing that we are in a recession and more than likely will be in another Great Depression. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.